All right, so this is going to be a step-by-step Google Ads tutorial that's going to get you from beginners to an advanced Google Campaign Manager. This is going to be used for 2020. Google has updated their platform a lot. They've taken out some things and then they've added a lot of things. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you exactly how to put together a successful Google ad campaign for any type of business. All right, so before I jump into the tutorial, make sure you subscribe to the journey. I'm dropping a bunch of content and value to grow your agency. I'm, sharing my knowledge, experience, and mistakes back to you guys so that way you can skip the learning curve and hopefully that will accelerate your success. So give this video a subscribe and turn on the notification bell because there's 2 to 3 videos every single week that I'm releasing. And then let me know in the comment section below what videos you guys want me to make next. I'm here to make videos that will be helpful to you, so let me know what's going to help you. All right, so this is a brand new Google ad account that I created for the purpose of this video. If you are managing multiple clients, and you're going to need what's called an MCC account, and all you do is just Google MCC account, and there you go. So if you just Google MCC account and you just create an account through there, that's how you're gonna be able to manage multiple clients all under your manager's account. So once you created that, you create your client's account inside of your MCC account, and it's going to take you to a page that looks like this. All right, so before we put together a successful campaign, the success is going to come before us actually putting the campaign together. So it's very important that we do all the right steps before we even jump into creating the campaign. So in order to do that, the first thing that you must do, now this is probably the number one most important thing that you need to do when putting together a Google campaign, and that is to make sure you are tracking conversions. If you're not tracking conversions, then you're not going to know how to optimize your Google ad campaign. You're not going to know what's profitable, what's not profitable, and you're not going to know what's working and what's not. So if you're not tracking any conversions, then you're flying blind, and it's going to be very, very, very tough for you to create a successful Google ad campaign. So first things first, you have to track conversions. It's the most important step, most important thing that you need to do. And to do that, you just go into tools and settings. You click on conversions, which is right here. And then you're going to define what a conversion is to your Google ad campaign. So they're going to give you some options. So depending on, what you're trying to track as a conversion from your Google ad campaign. Let's say you are running a Google ad campaign for a local business, right? And you want to track phone calls. So every time a lead calls into your office from the Google ad campaign, we're going to count that as a conversion. And that's important because if we know which keywords, which ads, what time of the day, what day of the week is producing the most phone calls, we're going to be able to optimize our campaign to shift our budget towards what's working. And then we're also going to see, whatever's not working, and that way we can take that money from whatever's not working and put more into what's working. So, that's pretty straightforward there. So if you want to track phone calls, then obviously you just click on phone calls. And then if you're looking to track sales and lead forms, people who have signed up, submitted their information on your form, then you would click on website. So I'm just going to go through it real quick on how you would do that. They're both pretty similar, just obviously one is tracking website conversions and then one is tracking phone calls. So we'll go ahead and we'll track phone calls for now. It's going to give you the option of calls from ads using call extension or call only ads. I usually go with this one just because all the traffic that we get, we send them to either a website or a landing page or something like that, and it'll have a tracking number on there. So every time a lead calls that number, not only are we notified of that phone call, but also Google will track that conversion. So I'm going to hit continue. And then you can name it whatever you want, inbound calls, leads, inbound lead calls. For value, I usually just don't use a value for the conversion. If you want to fill that in, you can, but it's optional. Count, So select how many conversions to count per click or interaction. If it's for leads, signups, and things like that, so we would just count, every phone call as one conversion. Um, Call length. Now, I noticed that when I ran Google Ads for clients, there's a lot of times where calls are gonna go to voicemail, or maybe sometimes a client, you know, our client actually does pick up the phone and talks to the lead, but for some reason the call cuts off and it like hangs up or something like that. So what I like to do personally is I'll actually set the time to about like 20 seconds, just in case the call goes to voicemail or maybe the call drops for whatever reason. We're still gonna want to count that as a conversion because the lead did call in. Now, depending on your niche, maybe you might need to the call length to be longer. I don't know, but if you want to track every conversion just in case it goes to voicemail, things like that, you could, decrease the time or increase the time. Conversion window, 30 days, include in the conversions metrics. Yes, we do want to do that. Um, Attribution model, I go with time decay. And I actually got that method from a Google representative. The Google rep, before I used to have it on last click. That means, um, when a lead clicks on our ad, then it, when sorry, when the lead clicks on an ad, doesn't matter, if they clicked on your ad once, twice, or three times, um, Google is going to give that last ad that they clicked the conversion. So, for example, if the lead, let's say, clicks on your ad and then he leaves and then he refreshes, he searches again, and then your ad pops up again. He clicks in on it the second time, and then he finally calls the second time. It's going to give the second ad, whatever your ad copy was, the conversion, right? So what the Google rep recommended that I should do is I should click on, we should use time decay. And the reason for that is because, let's say the lead clicks on the first ad and then he leaves the website, landing page, or whatever. He doesn't call in, and then he searches for your client again, and then you pop up a second time and he calls. It's going to give both ads credit for that conversion. So it'll give half and half to those two ads, right? Because to your ads, it might be different ad copies for whatever reason. I mean, you should always be testing multiple ads to see what works, what ad copy is better than other. So if we click on time decay, it's going to tell us, all right, this person clicked on, our ad showed up twice to this person, but he didn't call in until the second or even third or fourth time, and Google is actually going to credit all four of those ads instead of just the very last ad or keyword that was shown. All right, so I would go with time decay, and then you would just hit create and continue. You're going to install the tag yourself, and from here you will install the tag on your website or your landing page, whatever you're using. This is the global tag. So this, you would copy that and then you would paste it into the header of your landing page or your website. I'm not going to dive in too deep into that, but that's where it's going to belong. It's going to belong on the header of the page, and that's going to be able to track your entire website. So from there, after you've copied and pasted that into your website, your landing page, you're going to want to enter your phone number as it appears on your website. So from here, you're going to want to enter the phone number that you're using for leads to call into. So maybe the office number, the tracking number, whatever it is, the phone number that your traffic is going to be calling goes right there. And then from there, you would just hit create snippet, and it's going to give you a code right down here. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to copy that code and you're going to paste it into the header of your website or your landing page. So that way Google knows that, what phone number should be called to count as a conversion. So once you put the phone number in there along with the global site tag here, it's going to tell Google that, all right, every time someone lands on that landing page or that website and calls this phone number, which is in the code, we're going to count that as a conversion, right? So after that, you're just going to click next, and then you should be done, right? Boom, done. So I'm not gonna use that. I'm gonna go ahead and remove it. And if you have multiple phone numbers, then you're gonna have to use you're gonna have to set it up with multiple phone numbers. So yeah, that's pretty much how you set up conversions. I'm gonna get out of there. And then you would do the same thing for websites as well. So you want to track, how many phone calls you're getting. You want to track how many sales and how many leads are signing up, for your form or whatever it is. So you want to track both of those conversions. Those are the two most important. That is the most important step of putting together a Google ad campaign, is make sure you are tracking conversions. All right, so now that we have our conversions set up, now we need to do some keyword research. We need to figure out, what keywords to use for our Google ad campaign, right? If you don't really understand your niche, you don't know what keywords are profitable, if you haven't been running ads, if your client hasn't been running ads, then you're gonna have to do a little bit of keyword research along with some ad research and things like that. I'll dive in a little deep into one of them, and so you're gonna be able to use that data to put together your Google ad campaign. So in order to do some keyword research, you're gonna click on Tools and Settings here. You're gonna go to Keyword Planner. From here, you're gonna want to get search volume and forecast, and let's just say we are targeting. What do we want to target? I don't know, plumbers, right? So let's just get started there. So whatever your niche is, you just want to type in the most relevant keyword that you think most people use to search up. So obviously you're going to want to target not the entire United States. You want to target a very specific city. So I'm going to target Huntington Beach, California. So let's say we are running ads for, a plumber that only serves Huntington Beach. If he serves multiple cities and things like that, then obviously we would add that more locations to there. All right, so from here, you're going to type in plumbers again. I like to put in quotations just because it's going to give us a phrase match. It's going to give us more options to work with here. So Huntington Beach, search networks, Google. Perfect. So perfect. As you can see here, plumber competition is high. That means there's a high search volume for this specific keyword. And then it's going to tell us how much to bid. This is on the low range and the high range. So the low range is pretty much, how much you can get away with being on the top of the page. You only need $23. And in the high range, which is probably, about the maximum that you're gonna bid for to be on the top of the page. So these prices is gonna depend on, what time of the day it is, what day of the week it is. Sometimes some day might be more competitive than others. There might be more searches during a certain time. So let's say, if you're running your ad at like 2 a.m., chances are there's not that much searchers, not that many people searching for plumbers. So your cost per click is probably going to be lower. You're not going to be paying the $82. However, what I like to do is, and before I get into that, I always like to try to get, the cheapest cost per click. And that's what you should strive for your client as well. You want to, get the most leads for the least amount being paid, right? So in order to do that, we got to put our Google ad campaign together, and then I'll go into that more. But if we put our Google ad campaign together, we're getting good high click-through rate, we have good ads, good ad copy, and Google will actually reward you with better cost per click. So if we slap together a terrible Google ad campaign, the ad copy is not really relevant to whoever is searching for us, then Google is actually going to charge us more. The quality score is going to be a lot lower, and then we're gonna have to pay that premium price close to this $82 for our ad to appear on the top of the page. So this is just kind of like getting an estimate, so that way you have an idea of how much you're going to be paying about to get your ad on top of the page of Google. And then here you could see there are other ideas here, and I take into all account. You would go through this list here, and you would see whatever is relevant to your client, your plumber, whoever you're running ads for, and then you would just take copy and paste onto your notes or something like that, and then those are going to be the keywords that you're going to use to target later on. So as you can see, we have plumbing services, high search volume, plumbers near me. And actually, sorry about that. That's not high search volume. That was high competition, which means there are a lot of other people who are also targeting this keyword. So as you can see here, that's going to be about how much you're going to be bidding. Um, and then you would just go through here and see what makes sense for your client, and then you would just add that to the list. So that way we can go ahead and use that later on. Cheap plumbers, as you can see, that's like about the bid. So what I like to do is like I said, I'm gonna try to get the cost per click to be as low as possible. So, let's say I'm targeting plumbers near me. I'm probably gonna be about four. You're gonna take this number and maybe add $10 to it. You always want to bid, a little bit more than what is suggested, so that way, you're kind of like in between, in the middle. So, and then really from there, you're gonna have to optimize the campaign, obviously, right? There's not like you're not gonna get it right the first time. So once you put your bidding in, so let's say plumbers near me is $38. I might start off with $45, and then see where my ad lands up. How many clicks are we getting? Are we spending up our entire daily budget? If so, should I increase it? Should I decrease the cost per click? And so from there, that's how you really optimize your campaign once you actually turn on the campaign. But we'll use these numbers to keep in mind. So about $23 for plumbers, but that might be irrelevant. But someone who is searching for plumbing services might be more of a lead. They're more, they have probably more intentions to hire a plumbing person for, that much there. So that's how you pretty much do keyword planning and, finding the right keywords for your client, how you're going to see what the competition is like, what the average monthly search is like for that specific keyword. Make sure you have the correct city and that your client serves right in your locations. And so yeah, we'll keep these numbers in mind. So about 30, 20, 30, about 20 to $30. So once you have that, you have your keywords planned out. You know what keywords to target. You know how much you need to bid for your ads to show up. We're gonna go ahead and put together a Google ad campaign now. So to do that, we're going to go to campaigns right there, and we're going to click on new campaign. We're going to click new campaign. And now, you would select the goal that you have for your campaign. Don't worry if you feel like you're not clicking the right one. This isn't a make it or break it for your campaign. This is just to tell Google, what your goal is, and then they're going to try to make recommendations for you to fix your campaign and see if you can make things better. So don't worry if you click it wrong or whatever. It's not going to make or break, and you can always change it later on. But I usually just go with leads if that is your goal. And from here, I always go with search campaign, especially if it's for a local business. You just want to always go to search campaign. That's just what I found has been the most effective. I'm going to click on that. Select the ways you like to reach your goals. If you click on phone calls, we don't have to add that now. That's an extension that I do later, but I don't know if I'm going to dive that deep into this one in this video. But let's say, you would just include your phone calls, your tracking number right there. And then if website visits, you would just put your, your website or your landing page URL right there. All right. And then conversions, you should already be tracking that conversions what I showed you earlier. All right, so from here, we're going to name our campaign, right? So let's say our client is a plumber. I'll name it plumbers. I don't know. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. Search network, we only want search network, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off display network. Now, display network is kind of like, relevant sites, like it says here, expand your reach by showing ads to relevant customers as they browse sites, videos, and apps across the internet. So you see those like ads on the side every time you go to a different website and things like that. That's display network. So I don't really find that effective, because that comes back to disrupt marketing. You're trying to disrupt someone from what they're doing, rather as search network, they're actually searching for that service, right? You can start off with include Google search partners checked, and then after you get some data, you could see how many conversions you've been able to get from Google search partners. From my experience, Google's Google search partners, if you leave that checked, it's kind of like the low hanging fruit leads. It's not the best quality, but also the cost per click, the cost per lead is also a lot cheaper. However, I haven't really found much quality with this option. So I normally start my campaign with this checked just so we can get some traffic, get some more data coming in, to see what people are searching, what their search terms are like. So I'll leave that checked. And after I have some data, I'll go back and I'll look at, how many conversions came from Google search partners. And then from there, I'll go ahead and make that decision whether I want to leave that on or leave that off. And all of this, everything you do in here is going to be you're going to be able to change later on. So I'm going to go down here, click show more settings. I don't really mess with this start and end date. You could, schedule when you want to start your campaign, when you want to end it. That's really entirely up to you. From here, locations is obviously, your local business. Let's say you're a plumber. We don't need to target the whole entire US because your plumber doesn't serve the entire US. So we'll go ahead and we'll enter another location. So from here, like I said, if your client only serves a specific city, then we'll go ahead, we'll target that specific city. If he targets multiple cities, then we can go ahead and type in multiple cities. So if he serves Huntington Beach and Newport Beach, then we'll target those two areas. Let's say your client is a brick and mortar, and let's say they are, I don't know, a solar company, right? And their office is located in Irvine, California, right? Or you know what? Let's do chiropractic. Let's say your client is a doctor, okay? Oh, whoops. Let's say your client is a doctor and his office is in Irvine, California. So obviously you would try to get that office address and then you paste it in here and it's going to populate that office up. So from here, I would target, you can target a radius instead of locations. Instead of like the entire Huntington Beach or the entire Newport Beach or entire city, you can target the radius around your client's office, right? So let's say my client's office is in Irvine, which is right there. It's going to put the office right in the middle, and then 20 miles, we're going to target 20 miles out this way, and this way, and this way. So that's going to be the radius, and that's going to be really effective if you are running, your ad campaign for a local business, such as a doctor's clinic or something like that, right? And then I normally start off about 20 miles. That way, we get data and things like that. And if your ads aren't getting enough clicks, if you're not getting enough search volume, then you can increase your radius. You can increase it to, 25, 30. It really depends on how populated your city is, wherever your client is operating out of. So, if it's not a very populated city, you may have to increase the radius. If it's a very populated city, such as Irvine, Huntington Beach here, then, 20 miles should be more than enough. And then you can go back, look at the data, see what's going on. If you're getting too many clicks and it's spending up your daily budget very quickly, then we can go ahead and we'll decrease the radius. And if you're not getting enough clicks, then increase the radius. So it's nothing too complicated right there, right? That's how you really just troubleshoot whatever issues you may run into. From here, so I might have to actually put in a location here. So I'm going to put in Irvine. We'll target Irvine, 20 miles. Location option, this is very, very important. And I think this is a major mistake when someone is running a Google ad campaign. Let's say I'm here in California, right? And I'm searching up a dentist, a cosmetic dentist. I want to get my teeth fixed, my teeth done. And I type into Google, cosmetic dentist. And what should pop up are ads from cosmetic dentists who are in my area, right? That only makes sense because I'm only going to be going to a cosmetic dentist like that is near me. If an ad and you'll actually see this more times than not. There will be ads that you'll see that is all the way from New York or all the way from Florida, or somewhere super far away that doesn't make any sense. Even if it's like Los Angeles, for example. Like, I'm not going to drive 40 minutes to Los Angeles when there's a bunch of dentists around my area, right? So that's why it's so important that we have the location targeting on point. We can target 20 miles around Irvine. We don't need to be targeting 50, 100 miles around the office location, because it doesn't make any sense, right? If a person is searching for a cosmetic dentist for a local business, I'm not going to be willing to drive 50 to 100 miles somewhere when there's one nearby. So just keep that in mind when you are running a Google ad campaign for a local business. Okay, so that is a key thing, right? We don't want our ads to be showing up to different areas, different countries, different states, right? So in order to do that, we need to go into locations options, and we want to target only people in or regularly in your target location. We only want to target people in our location, right? So we don't want to target people in or who show interest in your target location, because what that means is that they could be in New York and they might type in, cosmetic dentist Irvine, right? We don't want our ad to show up to someone that is like in New York or in a different state. Okay, so it's super important that you want to target people that is in your targeted location. We're going to exclude people in or show interest in your excluded locations. People in or who show interest in your excluded locations. Okay, so we're going to leave that checked because we don't want to target anyone who is showing interest in outside of our location. So if we're targeting Irvine and someone searches up, chiropractor in New York, we don't want to show our ad. So that person may still live in Irvine, but they might search up an ad, or they might search up for something that is like somewhere far away. So we don't want to show up our ad to that person either. So that's how you do the targeting location. That's super important, that for your campaign. So make sure you get that down. It's going to save you a ton of money. It's going to save your client a ton of money, and you're going to get a lot better results just by having the targeting correct. Audience, if you know your audience, if you already have data, if you only want to target a very specific gender or something like that, or their interests and stuff, normally I don't mess with this, so I just leave that blank. Language, English. For budget, now you need a good enough budget for your Google ad campaign to get data in order for you to use that data to optimize the campaign to get better results. Most local businesses, most businesses in general who runs Google ad campaigns for themselves, who doesn't know how to put together a Google ad campaign, they're going to start with like a $50 ad budget. And that's not enough. That's not a big enough budget for Google to work with to get you results, right? If you're just like testing the waters, it may work, but chances are you're not going to have enough data to see, the results, to get results, or to see how you can even optimize the data. So if your client is like, hey, we only want to spend, I don't know, $50 to $100 for the entire month, chances are it's not going to be a big enough budget for that client to see results. I mean, it might, but it's always recommended that you should have a bigger budget. It really depends on your niche, but I always recommend that you allocate a minimum of $1,500 towards a Google campaign, because it's going to be a big enough budget to show you results, to get you results. And then not only that, but we're going to have a ton of data to use to optimize your campaign, right? So now I'm in a very competitive niche, so the cost is very high, which is why I recommend $1,500. But maybe you are working with a client where it's not as competitive, maybe not as competitive. The cost is probably a lot less. So maybe, I don't know, the chiropractor maybe. So the chiropractor, you could probably get away with maybe $500 minimum, $1,000 minimum. But all I'm saying is, do your research, see what the cost per click is like, and then, have a guesstimate of, all right, how many clicks it's going to take before, I get my client one lead. And then you got to think about how many leads I got to get my client for that to convert to one customer, right? So that's going to be about how much your budget is. So just keep that in mind. But normally the budget, let's say it is $1,500 a month, the budget would be uh it's multiplied by 30 days. So what actually happens with Google is on some days Google will spend more than your daily budget. It may spend up to twice the daily budget if it thinks that it's going to bring you more conversions. And then some days it'll make up for the days where it spent more by not spending as much. It's going to spend below your daily budget. Now, here are the rules for the budget from Google. For the month, you won't pay more than your daily budget times the average number of days in a month, which is about 30.4. Some days you might spend less than your daily budget, and on others you might spend up to twice as much. So Google said it themselves. It's letting you know that they may spend more. So if you log into your Google dashboard and you see that it spent like doubled your daily budget, don't be surprised. That's just Google thinking that it's gonna get you better results. And I want you to also keep in mind that Google is a business, right? They are probably one of the most profitable business today, and that's because of their Google Ads platform, right? Millions, they have trillions of searches per year. A lot of users are going through Google, so they're making a ton of money on the ad side. So keep in mind that Google's best interest isn't if you get results or not. Google's best interest is seeing how you can spend the most money on their platform so they can profit for their business, right? So just keep that in mind. I just want you to keep that in mind, okay? Bidding. Now, what I always do is I always use a manual CPC bidding strategy, just because you can have total control on how much you want to spend maximum on a per click. Now, Google will always, and they'll even have representatives email you, call you. They're going to do the whole recommendation stuff. They're always going to recommend that you do some other type of bidding strategies, such as maximize conversions, optimize for clicks, as you could see here, maximize clicks, target CPA, and things like that. You're going to have a bunch of bidding strategies. I just go with manual CPC because then that gives you total control on how much you want to spend. If you want to go with automated bidding strategy, which is something I don't recommend you do, what's going to happen is that you're giving Google, permission to spend as much as they want to try and get you results, right? So they're going to try to charge you the most per click. They're going to try to charge you the most per lead, and they're going to try to, really, really trying to, make you pay the most for everything. And as you can see here, when I click on manual CPC, some of you may be scared because there's a warning here. It's going to say setting bids manually may result in a lower performance. Use smart bidding to help improve results by using more signals to optimize your bid. So, most people who don't know how to put a Google ad campaign together correctly, they're going to see this and they're going to be like, oh, wow. They're going to be like, oh, wow, I want to use smart bidding. I want the best results, right? I want to have automated bidding strategies. So they're going to go ahead and click one of the automated bidding strategies, and hopefully they get good results, right? And they probably will get results, but here's the thing. The results, it's going to lead to also higher cost per clicks, higher cost per lead. Everything is going to cost a lot more compared to if we had total control of our bidding. So yeah. Is there anything else? I want to go into the bidding strategy here. Okay, so help increase conversions with enhanced CPC. So enhanced CPC, it doesn't give me this option yet because I need to set up conversion tracking. So if you did set up conversions earlier, then it's going to give you this option. But enhanced CPC, what it is that you're going to allow Google to bid more. So let's say my manual cost per click, right? I'm setting the max cost per click. I only want to spend $20 max per click. So I'm telling Google, you spend whatever you want, but just keep it under $20 per click. Now with enhanced CPC is that if Google thinks that, during a certain time of the day or the day of the week, or, this person who is searching for that specific keyword, they are likely to become a lead customer, whatever a client, whatever it is, Google is going to bid more on that search. So even though you're bidding at $20, if you have enhanced CPC on, Google may charge you $25, $30 for that click if it thinks that it's going to get you better results, right? So what you could test with this, there's no right or wrong way. I can't tell you that this isn't the right way to do it, but you could test because every niche is going to be different. You could test, see how it does. If it's costing too much and you're not getting results out of it, I would turn it off. That's what I normally do. I normally just leave off the enhanced CPC, but like I said, you could test and see what works and what doesn't for you. That's the best way to find out. Now, if we go into show more settings here, our conversions, we've tracked conversions earlier. Ad schedule. So ad schedule is important, right? So if you are running ads for a local business, then obviously you want to run ads for just during their business hours, right? We don't want to run ads when the business is closed. So when your Google campaign is running, you want to make sure that your client is either available to pick up the phone or they have someone to answer the phone. And that is super important because if you are generating leads for your client and your client doesn't have an answering service, or no one's picking up the call and the calls that leads are calling into are going straight to voicemail or whatever reason no one's picking up, then you're going to lose out on a lot of money. Your client is not going to be profitable, and then they're going to complain, hey, we're not profitable this month, what's up? Like I'm getting leads, I'm calling them back, but they're not replying, or we're not closing, we're not making any money, right? So be very clear with your client that the ad campaign is going to run during your business hours. So it may be Monday through Fridays from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., whatever the hours that you guys decided to be very clear with the client that, all right, your Google ad campaign is going to run at this time. Make sure that there is someone available to answer the phone. That is super important because we need to understand that people who are on the internet searching for something specific, they want answers right now. That's why we're searching for it, right? We don't want to wait. So if, let's say, I call into this business and they don't answer, guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to stop there, right? I'm going to call the next person on the list. I'm going to be calling the next business that can help me out with my whatever I'm looking for, right? So it's super important that you have someone qualified to answer the phone, right? Make sure the client doesn't have his little niece or daughter or son, who is 8 years old picking up the phone. We want someone that's qualified to talk to leads and can close a deal and make some money for the business, right? So that's super important. Ad rotation. So ad rotation is just an option of once we put our ads together, our ad copies and things like that, how do we want Google to show our ads? So you have option number 1, which is optimize prefer best performing ads. And what that's going to do is Google is going to show all your ads, and then it's going to see which one gets the best results, and it'll go ahead and it'll start showing that ad more over than others. That's what I normally go for, but you can also go for option number 2, which is do not optimize, rotate ads indefinitely. And this is something I would suggest you start off with if you are new to running a Google ad campaign. And the reason for that is because Google, if you have the first option selected, Google is going to, it's going to start showing one ad more than the others before even getting enough data. So even before getting enough data, Google is going to think, all right, this one is getting the most conversion, so we'll go ahead and we'll use this ad. Whereas if we're rotating ads indefinitely, Google is going to show all of your ads equally, and then from there you can look at the data and see which ad is getting the most conversions, because you have your conversions tracking set up. We're going to see which ads is getting the most highest click-through rate, the most clicks, which one is has the highest conversion rate, and from there we can make a decision on which ad is the most profitable, right? So I would suggest you start with do not optimize, rotate ads indefinitely, and then once you get enough data from all of your ads being shown, then I'll go ahead and I'll switch over to optimize and prefer best performing ads, okay? So start off with do not optimize, and then after you get enough data, switch over to optimize, so that way Google will start showing the ads that is the most, that's going to get you, that's been getting you results. All right. So extensions. All right. So with extensions, it's something that you definitely need to include. And for the reason for that is because if you include your site link extensions, let me show you what a site link extension looks like. So if I search up plumbers near me, right? These are site links extensions right here. 1, 2, 3, right? If you click on it, it's going to, it's a link that leads me to their site. So it's just extra stuff. This one doesn't have site link extension, as you could see. Right, this one has site link extensions there. Request service 24/7, 10% off coupon. This is an example of a location extension. So this is going to tell you where the business is located. That is the extension business. And then what other extensions they have here? Call out extensions. So call out extensions is going to be, these little, it's going to have the description, and then it should have call out extensions are these like short little one-liners. So it's kind of like little features for your business. Best OC plumbers, call today for an appointment, family owned and operated, call for free estimates. So those are, free, I'm not free, those are call out extensions. And then we also have call extensions. So call extensions is pretty much just the phone number. That is the call extension there. Let me search up maybe, I don't know, chiropractors near me. I don't know. That's an easy one, right? So we have our we have our site link extensions. We have a location extension, but no site link extensions. You want to make sure that you have all the extensions put in. I mean, not all of it, but you need the ones. I'm gonna tell you which extensions you need in a little bit. I just want to search up what's going on here. I don't know what should we search up? I don't know. Realtors near me. So we have site link extensions. Here are the first 4 of the ads, right? Let's put solar companies near me. Okay, so same thing. All right, so same thing here. Usually the site link extensions, you're going to see like 2 big links right below their ad. So it would be like big old square, and it's going to take up more real estate. And that's the whole purpose with extensions, is if you add more ad extensions to your campaign, you're going to be able to take up, not only give more information to the person that's searching for you, but you're also going to take up more real estate, right? You have more information. So let's say I'm searching for a solar company near me, and I see that, oh, hey, this person is in Anaheim, that's nearby, right? I'm going to go ahead and click that. Whereas, this #1 solar company for 7 years, but we don't know where they're located. Same here, California, right? California, like, where in California? California is huge. So Southern California, Northern California, Orange County. Like, I need to know where. But this person has, their location extension. They're in Anaheim. And so that may be that one reason why that lead clicks on your ad and becomes a paying client, right? So it's super important that you add, your site link extensions, call out extensions, and all of that. And if you just click on it, it's going to tell you what you need to add and how to do that. I'm not going to dive in too deep because it's going to take forever. But all you really need for your ad campaign is really the site link extension, the call out extension, the call extension, and the location extension. Those are pretty much the only 4 things that I've used for my Google ad campaign. It may be different for every niche. If you are, I don't know, doing e-com, or if you're selling apps or something like that, then you may have to do that. But other than that, I don't see anyone really needing to use these. So just stick with these 4, especially if you're just running ads for a local business. These are the only 4 extensions that you need. And I don't even use location extensions sometimes because I create accounts for my clients, and if I do location extension, then I have to do, Google requires me to like confirm that it's my location, actual location, things like that. And it's just not smooth. I got to do some extra steps. So that's optional. I would suggest you should include that. But yeah, those are the 4 extensions that you need to include for your Google ad campaign. So that's how you get up to 15% higher click-through rate by showing additional information on your ad. So that's important to include in your ad campaign. So I'm going to go ahead and click save and continue once you have that all set up. And from here, you're just going to create your ads. Or no, this is where you target keywords, right? So for example, ad group name. It's very important that you split up your ad groups. And the reason for that is because we want our ads to be as relevant as possible to the person searching for our services. So for example, if our client is a plumber who fixes just the I don't know, the sink or something, right? So we want to be as specific as possible, and you don't have to, but it's always better. It really depends. So let's say your doctor is a chiropractor, and let's say he only works on, athletes. So he's a sports chiropractor, right? Then we would create a ad group for sports chiropractor, and then we would have an ad group for just chiropractors, right? So that's how specific we want things to be. So if someone who is searching for a sports chiropractor, we're going to use all the keywords that has to do with sports chiropractors, right? So chiropractor for athletes or something like that, right? So it's going to be more specific with the keywords. And chiropractors in general for keywords is pretty simple. That's why I like to use it. All you gotta do is chiropractors near me. And as you could see, I put in quotations because that is a phrase match. That means, if someone searches chiropractors near me and they might type in, something else afterwards, then your ad is still going to show up. So let's say they search up chiropractors near me, Irvine, then your ad's still going to pop up, right? That is a phrase match. So it's going to include all these keywords plus whatever comes after or before whatever's in quotation. So that's how you're able to cover more keywords with just phrase match. I don't recommend you do broad match. Broad match is just, chiropractor like that with chiropractor with no quotations. And a broad match, it'll tell you right here, phrase match, exact match. A broad match it's very broad. So if someone searches up chiropractor school, for example, right? Like chiropractor, or even if they spelled chiropractor wrong, if someone searched up I don't know, chiropractor salary, or I don't know, something like that, it's very broad. Your ad's going to show up and the lead quality isn't going to be as high. So we want to make sure that our keywords is as relevant to our leads as possible. And that's why I like to use phrase match. Yeah. So with the default bid, that is the bidding that we are going to set for the keywords in our ad groups. So that is why we did our keyword planning earlier. We know, about how much we want to bid on our keywords. We know what keywords we want to spend. So we're going to take those keywords that we've, done research on, we're going to copy and we're going to paste it into our ad groups, right? And then that's how you separate the two, and then that's how you're going to do the ad group. So we also now know, an estimate of how much we want to bid. So earlier for plumbers, so back to plumbers here, we saw that it was about $20 to $30. So I'll go ahead and I'll start the bid off at maybe, I don't know, $35, right? Because I was on the low range. The high range was about $80 or something like that. And as you can see here, here's a daily estimate. It also gives you average cost per click. So use all this data to kind of give you, an idea of how much you should be bidding for the keywords and the ads and things like that. You always want to bid more than what they suggest, right? A little bit more than what you suggest, because this number is what everybody sees and that's what everyone's going to be bidding about, which is why we want to bid a little bit more to kind of get that competitive edge. So ad groups. Here, another example of ad groups and staying relevant is, let's say your client is a criminal defense attorney, right? So our client is a criminal defense attorney. He is a lawyer. He's an attorney. So in this ad group, we want all keywords that is going to have to do with just criminal defense attorney. So it'll be, criminal defense attorney, criminal attorney, attorneys near me, or criminal attorneys near me, and things like that. So if we put it in here, get some ideas, we can also get some ideas here. So as you can see, criminal attorney, defense attorney. We don't want to include lawyers because lawyers is a whole separate keyword, right? It's if you added that into this one ad group, it's going to be a mix. So what you want to do is separate criminal defense attorney and criminal defense lawyer. So those should be in two separate ad groups, and that's how you're going to get a higher quality score for your campaign, is because, like I said, you want to be as relevant as possible. So, if someone is searching for an attorney, they're not going to type in criminal defense attorney and lawyer, right? More than likely, they're going to search up either or, criminal defense attorney or criminal lawyers or things like that, right? And we want it to be as relevant as possible, which is why you want to have two separate ad groups. And then to go even further, let's say you're a criminal defense attorney, right? A criminal defense attorney practice a lot of different areas. So a criminal attorney may practice he might want theft cases, right? People who, grand theft auto, they're stealing or something like that. Then from here, you would have keywords that are related to theft. And, I can add another ad group if if the criminal defense attorney, for example, also wants to target, DUI cases, driving under the influence. So DUI attorney and DUI lawyers would be another two separate ad groups. And then you would put in the keywords that would be for that specific ad group. So it'd be something like DWI attorney, right? DUI attorneys, DUI attorneys near me, and then you would do the same thing for DUI lawyers. And then you can look through here to see, some examples that it gives you. So I mean, that's how you put the set up the ad groups and the keywords. Once you're done with that, you just hit save and continue. I'm just gonna go ahead and X this stuff out. Save and continue, and then from here, now you get to create your ads. So for your ads, you're going to put the URL of your website or wherever you're sending your traffic to into there. You're going to have headline number 1, headline number 2, headline number 3. So for example, if your plumber is in Huntington Beach, then you would put, I don't know, number 1 plumbers in Huntington Beach, or let's put Newport Beach. Huntington Beach is hard to spell, right? And you have 30 characters. So number 1 plumbers in Newport Beach. Someone that is in Newport Beach that searches for plumbers and sees that this person is located in Newport Beach, where they're at, they're more likely to click on that ad. So what I like to do, and what's good practice when you're writing out your ad copy, is to include the city, or the initial of the city, state, depending on where what your client serves. I always like to include the location somewhere in the ad, usually in the first headline, right? So number 1 plumbers in Newport Beach. I don't know, sports chiropractor in Irvine, right? So something like that. And then you want to create ads for every single ad group. So that's why it's so important to break it up. So if we have criminal defense attorney and criminal defense lawyers as two separate ad groups, all these ads should be talking about criminal defense attorneys, because that's what the user searched up for, the person searching for criminal defense attorneys. And then if someone is searching for criminal defense lawyers, then they should just see ads that says criminal defense lawyers. And that's how you really boost up your quality score, right? And that's why I tell you to break up your ad groups and really speak to the person that is searching up, whatever they're searching up on Google. So sports chiropractor in Irvine, and then headline number 2 could be, I don't know, like include the pricing. You can include the pricing. You can have some type of call to action. It's very important that you have some kind of call to action in your ad. It's very important. It's the number 1 thing, right? So the location is one, key component of having in your ad. The second one is having some type of call to action or something very sweet, like some type of deal or something, right? So I always recommend that my students to go after affluent niches, after affluent clients. Affluent clients are just people who have the money to spend on ads. So more than likely, affluent clients, they most of the times they'll have some type of free consultation, right? So if a business offers free consultation, then more than likely they make a lot of money on, a customer. So I like to put something like call now for a free consultation. Call for a free consultation. And notice that I have a capital letter on each word just because it looks a lot better, right? So that's 28 characters, fits right in there perfectly. Call for a free consultation. That's the call to action. And Google most of the time is only going to show headline number 1 and headline number 2. As you can see here, headline number 1, headline number 2, 1 and 2. They don't show the third headline as much. So it's very important that your first and second headline stands out. So first one should have, be what your client is, their location, and then headline number 2 should be the call to action headline. And then headline number 3 should just be, something that kind of like sweetens up the deal. So maybe like, if this person is a sports chiropractor, maybe you could put something like, worked on professional athletes or something like that, right? So it might not fit, but okay, I'm like one, but you get what I'm saying, right? So the third headline should be, something that sweetens up the deal. So maybe like affordable, something affordable and something like that. So yeah, hopefully you get what I'm saying. Headline number 3, put yourself in the client's shoes. What do they want? Do they want it to be like affordable? Do they want to have, maybe thousands of backs fixed or something, whatever they want, right? So the third headline is usually kind of like the feature. So you can include that in the headline. Path number 1 is going to just show up, right over here. So like that's path number 1, right? Solar companies. These other ones don't have paths. This one is solar, and then path number 1 here is California. Path number 2 is solar. So you want to fill it out as much as possible. It's just going to add more keywords to be relevant. It's going to, boost your quality score. So what I would do here is, I would put like sports chiropractor. See? So when someone searches up for a sports chiropractor, we have keywords here, sports chiropractor. We're targeting sports chiropractor keywords. It's in our ad. It's in our display path. It's in our URL. That's how you're going to boost your quality score and get rewarded by Google. So you could also do that. You can put, chiropractor, free consults, right? So free consultations. Boom, that looks good too. And then description number 1, you would just write out, a brief description, number 1 and number 2 about your sports chiropractor. So I would include, best sports chiropractor in Irvine, worked with, some athletes, professional athletes. You would name someone maybe. That's really what description number 1 is. Description number 2, you may have another call to action. So maybe like, thousands of backs reliefs, something like that. Call now for a free consultation. So from there, you would just hit done and then save and continue. So I'm not going to be creating that, but then that's pretty much it. So it's a little mix, right? Plumbers, criminal defense attorney. I'm going to go ahead and take that out. I'm going to remove it because we're not using that. And then so from there, you could go into, settings. You can change things up. This is what we did earlier. When putting our Google ad campaign together, so you can still go back. You didn't mess up anything if you, forgot to click something or forgot to set something up the wrong way. You can change up the locations, radius, the networks. Here's the search partners. You can leave it on, turn it off. You can change the budget. You can change your bidding strategy if you want. And then you could dive in deeper here. Locations. You could see, where your clicks are coming from. What's getting you the most conversions. And I would do that by going to columns. You can fix the metrics actually. Go into columns and then include conversions. performance. You could see, you know, what you want to see in your metrics, and then you would just save this as your column set. And now you can see how many conversions is coming from that specific location. Ad schedule, here's our ad schedule. You can change it. You can see what day is converting best. Obviously, we don't have any statistics yet. What hours, what time of the day is getting best results. So it really goes down to, you know, it's very measurable. And so once you start running ads, you're going to start getting a lot of data. You're going to see, you know, what's working, what's not, what's profitable, what's not, what's getting leads, what's not. And then you just double down on what's working and then spend less time on what's not working. Right? And then you would just test, introduce new things, and then it's a process. Just keep finding what works, what doesn't. So from here, devices, computers, mobile phones, and tablets. You want to see, you know, which device is getting you the most conversions at the cheapest cost per click, cheapest cost per lead, and then you would just double down on that. From personal experience, mobile phones has been the best conversions, just because, you know, a lot of people are on their mobile phones now, smartphones. They're searching on their phones, and then they'll just click on the phone number and just call from there, right? So that's why mobile phones probably more than likely get more conversions than any other devices. I found that tablets doesn't get as much results, and then computers, you know, it really depends on your niche, but it also gets conversion, but it hasn't gotten as good as mobile phones. And so if you do see, you know, a device that isn't, you know, getting you any results, you can go ahead and decrease that by whatever percentage. You can decrease it by 20, or if you don't want to target tablets at all, then you just decrease by 100%, and your ads won't be shown to tablets. If you want to, you know, increase your bids on people who are searching on their mobile phones, then you could increase it by 20%, or however you want to do it. So, you know, it all really comes down to getting data, and then once you get data, you're going to see, you know, what's working, and then you could make your bid adjustments on devices, on, you know, your ad schedule, your locations, everything. So that's pretty much how you put together a Google ad campaign from beginner to get you from beginners to an expert step by step, right? So now you have a complete Google ad campaign that is set up the right way. You know, you're not going to be wasting money with someone else searching for you in a whole different state. So all you really need to do now is continue to optimize your Google ad campaign to make it more profitable, and just always, you know, tweaking things, optimizing, introducing new things, to find out what works, and, you know, how you can make your Google ad campaign better. So hopefully this video was super helpful to you. This was a pretty long video, I know, but I know that this video is going to get you a whole ton of value. It's 2020. Google did, you know, change some things around, so it may be looking different from 2019's Google ad tutorials, but this is the most up-to-date, you know, as far as like what the interface looks like, what options are available to you, what things you should, you know, have selected, what things you should have not selected. And yeah, guys, so hopefully this video is helpful. If it was helpful to you, if you know, feel more confident in Google Ads now, give this video a big thumbs up. Comment below Google Ads Master, you know, just so I know that you guys watched all the way to the end, because I know that you guys got a ton of value out of this video, and that is exactly what I do to put together a Google ad campaign for all of my clients. And that's how I've been able to build up my 6-figure agency in less than 12 months through those exact steps that I've just showed you. All right, so just take this, run with it, build your 6 to 7 figure, and then all I ask for is give this video a big thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe to the journey, because I'm going to be dropping a lot more knowledge on you guys. And then turn on that notification bell and join the private Facebook group that's in the description. Link is in the description. Join it, download the free resources that I have in the group, and then connect with the community, connect with myself, ask questions, engage. And if you're serious about growing your agency, you got to do it. All right, until then, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.